Well, well, well. Cat, you finally did it. You finally did it. I can't believe it. I stayed up all night just for you. Just for you. All night. I used up all my magic. And now look at me. Look what I have become just for you. Are you going to take responsibility for this? This is for you. I can't believe it. I can't believe. I stayed up so late working working on this. Mm. All because y'all wanna learn how to read some music. We don't have to worry too much though. I got some coffee here, you know? I got a little bit of coffee and one little sip of this might just do it. You know? One one little sip. Let's see. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. I'm awake. I'm awake. Would you look at that? I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Oh my god. Hello everybody. Hello. Hello, hello. How's it going? Hi. Yeah.
Cheese underscore wizard 26 just cheered 100 bits.
Oh, thank you for the 100 bits. Thank you, thank you. Ray already told you all, but most of the redeems are off, and they will remain off. Right now, some of them are still on while we're in chatting, and then we will super turn them off for the next bit, for the actual lesson. But I did want to chat for a couple minutes before we get too far into it. But yeah. Um, let's see. Let me read the chat here. And we'll go from there, and then we'll get started with our stuff. We'll get started. I might, if you want, I could show you around this model a little bit, and then we'll get going. Let's see. Potato redeemed first today. Thank you, Potato, for redeeming first. And thank you for the daily dining check-in. Ray, thank you for the daily dining check-in. Hi, Joker. Thank you for the daily dining check-in. You, Ray, thank you for the daily dining check-in. Joker, thank you for the hydrate and stretch. Hi, Jenny. Thank you for the daily dining check-in. And Spooter as well is another daily dining check-in. Oh my god. There's so many daily dining check-ins. The bird has returned. The bird has indeed returned for another stream. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Ray, for pinning the message. I really appreciate that. Dead Knight, thank you for the daily dining check-in. Hi, Potato. Hello, is this Bird FM radio station? It sure is. It sure is. You're our 7th caller. Sai, thank you for the daily dining check-in. Cheese Wizard, thank you for the another daily dining check-in. Hi, everybody. I'm catching up. Oh no, realistic bird. Hi, Stray. Hello. You look so. Oh, is that Dev too? Hi, Dev. Welcome in. Welcome in. I think you skipped leg day. I sure did. Who needs leg day when you can fly? Who needs leg day when you can fly? A new model. It's right. It's a new model. You skipped leg decades. uh, how to music? Yes, yes. We're going to music today. I'm going to teach you how to music. Will Vara be the one to succeed in teaching me to read music? Stay tuned to find out. You're not the only one who's relying on today to perhaps learn how to read music, and I'm so very excited that you're here. And I'm also so nervous that I'm going to mess it up for you. I'm so nervous. Thank you, Cheese Wizard, for the 100 bits. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Um, let's see. Julabun, thank you for the daily dining check-in as well. I love music, them tunes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, after this, and maybe after a few more lessons and a few more classes, you'll be writing your own music and reading your own music, you know? Wing Day is far more important. Wing Day is far more important, and I finally caught up with the chat. Thank you all for being patient with me. Um, 4 teachers, 10 years of music classes haven't stuck yet. Well, maybe this little bird can help. We'll see. We'll see. I'll show you around this model a little bit. I'm not going to go too far in depth. It's going to be a little bit of a quick speed run. Then I'm going to go over how the next portion of the stream is going to work and why it's going to be the way that it is. And then we'll get into the actual lesson itself. I do not have the YouTube running yet. I'm going to turn it on when we hit the next section. But for now, we're just gonna pull it together. So I'll show you around a little bit. I was saving the biddies for another react, but I liked the model so much I had to throw monies. Oh my god, I really appreciate it. It means a ton. All the bits mean a ton. I actually have something just for you for the bits. Let me I'm actually gonna where is it? I can if I'm feeling hungry and now that we have some bits, we have some fresh bits from Cheese Wizard. I can have a little snack. I can have a little snack. Mm-mm. Tasty. Tasty snack. Tasty snack. You can feed me your money. I can eat all of your bits. Isn't that great? Well, I'm so sorry. I hit the desk again. I know I hit the desk when I was in the middle of doing that fancy little introduction. Um, and I really hope it didn't show up. It probably did, and I'm going to be really upset about it later. But I'm sorry about that one, too. Let's see. I'll give you the rundown of the things that we'll be able to do with it. That's why I couldn't redeem. Yeah. She don't want seeds. She want monies. Yeah. I'll show you everything, including there's a bunch of animations and a bunch of expressions. And so we'll run through it. Um, and we'll go from there. So these will eventually be redeemable. They are not redeemable yet. I hope they'll be redeemable Wednesday because I think I'll probably use this one Wednesday as well, just because it's cute and we're not using the redeems today. But I am hoping to add them in for Wednesday, so long as I have time tomorrow. So I'll show you a couple of them now. Here's the first one. You can give me a good shake. Give me a good shake. I don't think those are edible. No, they are to me. They are to me. I mean, I'm already made of porcelain anyway, you know what I mean? I can eat anything. We got another one here. So now we could be a squeaky toy? For real? A for real squeaky toy. Oh, a real squeaky toy? Eventually you'll be seeing a couple of these other ones, like this. This will be if you gift a sub, that'll pop up. Not right now though. Eventually our head pats will look like this. We can really get in there with those head pats. Oh yeah. Some good head pats. Um let's see. I now have a phone, which is great. I didn't have a phone before, but now I have a phone and I could look at it. And I could look at the garbage on Twitter with my new phone. It's amazing. I could look at social media. All that. Mhm. And now I can cheer for you, which is going to be great. I am feeling cuteness aggression. Cuteness aggression. So now we finally have some light sticks, which is great, which is nice. I've always wanted light sticks as like a redeem, but none of the models I've ever had have had it. Don't believe her. She's reading your YouTube metrics. She's reading your YouTube metrics. Why is everything Bird doing so cute in the door? Because Bird. Um, I'm also very excited that we have a book now because I like reading so much. Now I can have all the books that I want. I don't have to worry about it. It's so many books. All the books. They did such a great job on this model. Julia really likes it. I'll have to pick it up next week. Yeah. It's good. It's nice. It doesn't have ears though. As far as I remember, it has ears. Like I have my ears. And it has head wings that I didn't use because they weren't animated. They weren't rigged. But there's also I don't remember seeing cat ears, dog ears, or bunny ears. I have to double check. I don't remember seeing them. It was 2 a.m., so I don't know, but I'd have to double look. Oh, some tiny Vara, the goat. Yeah. Music Professor Vara. Tiny, small Vara. You look like you want to ask if I have games in my phone. Too bad for you, I only have Minecraft. No! Not Minecraft. Anything but Minecraft on your phone? You don't have Roblox on your phone? No Roblox? I'm gonna come for your ankles if you only have Minecraft on your phone? That's crazy. What language we learning? Music? Because music is a language. Ripperoni? Ripperoni, yeah. I think that's one thing. I gotta double check. I gotta look and see. Nuh-uh. I was a Minecraft kid. Never tried Roblox. Never tried Roblox? No Roblox? Mm. Mm. To be fair, I never had either one on my phone. I was too old for that. Let's see. We've got glasses. You've already seen them, but you'll see them again. We've got these. I may or may not wear these to teach. I probably will. Honestly, I'll probably wear them. We have a heart. I can hold up a little paper heart. Oh, and the wings flap when you frown. Not frowning, but when I smile. So they're normal like this, but like that. So we can go on and off with it. So you'll see them fluttering around a little bit. I've always wanted that in a big model. But of course I don't have custom, so. But we have it in this one. Why is this the most angry bird can be? What do you mean? That's it. I thought's head empty. Yeah. Yeah, just you wait. There's more. There's more. I can cry. You can make me cry. Um, we could really go for it. I don't imagine I'll ever use this, but we do have it. Now we're getting more into like the expressions, you know? Get this. I could be shocked. And what is this? Oh yeah. This is our no thoughts head empty. No thoughts head empty. You can really see my lazy eye with this too. It's crazy. They really did a number on the rigging in this one. They really did something. Um we can ponder. We can ponder. Um we could also like I imagine this is for kind of laughing, like a that'll work. That'll do. As far it's perfect for memes. It really is. It really is. That's why I wanted it. I wanted it so much. I considered it for about a week and I was like, you know what? It was like last night and it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it and set it up right now and use it. um, we do have this as well, though I don't know how much we'll use it just because it doesn't like suit me. You know what I mean? Maybe sometimes, but of this. We do have hearts like normal. I could be a little taller. Look at me now. Long bird, bird the long way. Long neck bird, yeah. It bird the long way, you know? Why? mm, giraffe bird, yeah. Giraffe bird. Giraffe bird. Mhm. Finally, a true vertical stream. Yep. Mhm. Mhm. That's for sure. You wanted to be the short allegations. I know. I tried so hard. I tried so hard. Um, there is buffering. You'll like this one. This next one. We have yet to have this one. This one's new. This is the one that's been highly requested. About every VTuber has it. Highly requested. Oh no! We're bald! We could be bald. And I buffered after that. Oh no! Bald! 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 Mhm. Mhm. What? What? What the shock? The shock, the horror. I think Mara summoned some rain. She has no feathers. Where'd her feathers go? No feathers. Mhm. We could do a classic little face blush. And this, I probably won't use this one too much. Like, it's alright. Um, but, I feel like this would be really great for stickers. Like, this whole model is really great for stickers. Really great for memes. Um, just really good for all this stuff. Like, it sweat a little bit. This was me earlier today. All night last night, all day today, all I did all day today was think about this stream and how nervous I was about not messing it up and making sure I had all my notes and knew everything and could do everything and that everything worked. And I was so nervous, and we still might have some scuff, but I'm trying not to. And of course, we could be angry. We could be an angry little bird, but I don't think we need to so much. But yeah, so I just wanted to show you around, and now we'll kind of go over um what comes next. I'm gonna grab a hydrate, and then we'll get into the real happenings. The main course of tonight. So it's a synthetic feather, maybe. Okay. So hydrate in. So the next part, as you know, is going to be music lesson. But the way that we're doing this, all the redeems and everything are going to be off. So there's going to be no notifications. No notifications for the next portion of the stream. You are still very welcome to write in the chat, and to ask questions and leave comments and things like that, and I will definitely be getting to them. In fact, I would encourage it, just because with the topics that we're doing tonight, because it's very much like the basics. This could take like 10 minutes, or we could take like 2 hours. It just depends on what you want. Um, I'm a terrible student. I will be lurking. Makes sense. I'll be quiet to respect teacher Bird. Yeah. So, um, we'll be um, we'll be not. None of the redeems will be on. None of the notifications will be on. If you send bits, you won't see them. Um, if you like, basically anything that you do or touch, you could still interact in some ways. Like, you can still send bits, you could still resub, you could still gift sub, you could still do your check-ins, and you could still, there's a couple things that'll still be accessible to you, but I will not be seeing them or paying attention to them because I'll be looking at the book. All right. um and I'm going to be, the way that we're doing this is I'm actually going to disappear again and then kind of show up again and do like a second intro. Um, Simply because you actually won't see the chat either. in the next scene. It's literally just gonna be what you'll see it when you see it. But there's not even gonna be a chat or anything like that. I'll see the chat on the side, but it's not actually gonna be in the recording. Um, and I'm gonna do kind of like a second intro. Well, am I gonna do a second intro? Mm, I might do something of a second intro. It'll probably be kind of awkward. Class participation is encouraged. Um, and we'll go from there. Okay? So basically I'll kind of get set up. It'll take me like another second here to just kind of get all the buttons ready and do all the things. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah? Does that sound good? Does that sound okay? You will also, well, you know what? I'll just tell you. I'll tell you in the next section. Mm. So right now it's like you're gonna be seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes because I gotta move around a little bit and get myself ready. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do we want the glasses? Or do we not want the glasses? Oh, the alert message changed. It did a while ago, actually. I think it changed a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I have yeah, I want that one up. And let's see. Mm-hmm. 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 No glasses? Okay. That's what I kind of figured too. Mm-hmm. 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 Give me a second. Mm-hmm. Okay. You may be confused by my position, but it'll make sense in a little bit. This. I just want to make sure I'm ready to go. There will be a couple cuts in the next bit, so we don't have to we don't have to be super strict. But I just want to make sure I'm ready. All right. And I'm also really nervous. I'm nervous. Oh, but all right. Let's 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 do it. I'll show you first, and then I'll probably second intro. Ta-da! Welcome to Vara's classroom. Welcome to the birds' classroom. Oh, the chat's still here. Hold on. Let me move the chat. Hold on, hold on, hold on. And chat. There we go. All right. Now we actually have it. This is why we check. Hi, Captain. Hi. All right. So, we made it. We made it to the classroom. And I heard that you want to learn how to read some music, but you might not know where to start. You might not know what to do. And it's okay because reading music is tough and it can be really challenging at first. And sometimes it takes a while. Um, but we're going to do it together. We're going to learn together. We're going to do it. And I'll take you step by step through the process. Some of this may seem deceptively easy at first, but it can get quite complicated once you really get into it. So it's very important that you understand the the very, very basics of how music is written and how to read music at a fundamental level. I do encourage that you take notes. So, whether that be using a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or if you just have good old pen and paper, whatever works best for you, you could certainly feel free to take notes. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments so that I can help you out with them. And please, 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 if you like this video, if you enjoyed this in any way, or perhaps you just want to support a bird in the future, please consider dropping a like, subscribing, or following on any of the platforms that I post content to, joining our Discord, or hanging out with me in live streams on a weekly basis. All right. Are we ready? 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 So, first things first. In Vara Saberwing teaches you how to read music. The very beginning. You've probably seen this a bunch, covered in notes, and have no idea what's going on. So the lines and spaces that you see that notes are written on is called the staff. And in the staff, there's 5 lines and 4 spaces by default. Every piece of music is written on the staff. It's equivalent to just lined paper that you would write an essay on. But this is how music is written. With the staff, each line and space is a note. So over here on the right, you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the amount of lines that we have, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for our spaces. Notes go on the lines and spaces. It doesn't matter what instrument, it doesn't matter what clef, it doesn't matter, nothing else matters. All music goes on a line or a space within the context of the staff. So the first step to understanding what kind of music you're reading is looking at the clef. The clef tells you generally what octave the music that you're reading is in, or what kind of instrument that you would play it on. So there's 4 clefs that you might see: treble clef, alto clef, tenor clef, and bass clef. But we're just going to focus on the treble clef and the bass clef because they're the 2 most popular clefs that you'll see. Alto and tenor exist, they're just a lot more rare to see. You're more likely to see them if you are reading music in the context of choir music, or if you play like the cello or the viola. And it's not even super common with the cello. But some of the mid-range instruments, or instruments that can go kind of in the middle, that aren't super high or super low, they might sometimes have alto or treble. Alto or tenor. But we won't worry about that so much today. We're just going to look at treble and bass. These are the 2 clefs you need if you're going to learn how to play the piano, or if you're going to identify notes with the piano, which is actually something we'll get to in the future in like a later lesson. Simply because the piano is like the universal gateway instrument. All instruments, you can figure it out, and you can kind of read the music and know where it is and what notes it is, using a piano as your gateway. You can get there. You can read any piece of music if you know how to read piano music and know where the notes are on a piano. So we'll start with the treble clef, which is also known as the G clef. It even kind of looks vaguely like a G. This clef is for higher pitched instruments or voices, so sopranos, violins, clarinets, flutes. trumpets. It's for the higher pitched instruments. Um, you'll see what's marked here in this chart. I want to show you. You'll see the swirly portion of the treble clef lines up with a line. This red line outlined. And that's going to be G. Everything correlates between it being called a G clef and where this swirl lines up. Where this swirl lines up is always going to be G on the staff. Some of this going forward, you may have a question about it, like, well, why is it a G? And for now, I ask you to trust me to get you there. This is a kind of a step-by-step process, and so you might be a little confused for a second. You might be like, well, how do I know that that's a G? But it will all make sense in the end. So just trust the process and just believe what I am telling you for the moment. Okay. So, if we want to write out the notes, like if we want to write out more notes than this, if we want to start with G and say we want to go up, right? Say we're doing a scale and we want to go up. We want to play more notes in the upward direction. We would write it like this. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You can see that it takes up the full length of the staff from top to bottom. In music, you can start with any note you want. Generally, you can start with any letter, but it only goes from A to G. So even if you started G, it would go G, A, B, C, D, F, G. And what comes next? A again. And it's a repetitive pattern that does not change. It is always A to G. In this case, we're starting with G, which is fine. So in this, what you're seeing right now, starts with G and ends with G. So we have a full octave. One full octave. 8 notes, G to G. But what happens if we want to go higher than that? We've run out of staff space. There's no more space on the staff. You can see that even the high G here is sitting on top of the staff. It's not in the staff anymore. It's sitting on top. Well, what do we do? Well, there's something called ledger lines. And ledger lines can be written above or below the staff. And you can keep writing them up or down as far below or as high as you need. So in this context, we're trying to write A, which just comes next. So if G is in the space, A above that is going to need a line above the G. So when we fully write that out, it looks like this. So now we have a full octave plus 1, and this would continue. So if you wanted B, that would go right above the A. So it would sit in the space, and you would still write that ledger line in, so you know how many ledger lines you're going up, and then you'd write your B. If you wanted C, you would write 2 ledger lines and put the C in the line. So that way, there's no discrepancy, and you know exactly, everybody knows what you are talking about, and everybody can read it the same. You can also do this going below the staff. So in this context, in treble clef, if we were going to go backwards from the first G that we see on the left, F would be in the space, E would be on the line, D would be in the space below the staff that's not written. If we wanted to write a C, we would have to add 1 ledger line and fill in the C. Okay. And then this follows suit with bass clef as well. It's just written a little differently. So bass clef is also known as the F clef. It kind of looks like an F. You can see with the swirly line and the two dots, it kind of looks like an F. And the line between those two dots is always going to be the note F. Again, this is the trust the process moment with G in the treble clef and F here in the bass clef. We will very soon be getting to why these are placed the way that they are. So when we write in bass clef and we want to read in bass clef, it follows the same nature as treble clef. In this example, we're heading downward. We go up and then we go down. So you can see we go up to A and then we go all the way back down to G. And very similar to treble clef, we can go up and down with ledger lines as well. So we can go down to F, E, D, we can keep going. We can go up from A, B, C, it doesn't matter. We can keep going. All of these line up. Okay, and now I'm going to explain to you why we put those clefs where we do and why they're written the way that they're written. So this is the grand staff. This has all of the lines and spaces of treble and bass clef. Alto clef and tenor clef sit in the middle, but we're not going to look at those for now. We'll just look at the highest and the lowest, which is treble and bass. So, I want you to do a little imagining with me. We're going to erase this middle line for a second. We're gonna erase this, right? We're gonna pretend that it's not there for just 1 second. And what does this look like to you? Well, we could put the two clefs here. Between. So you see where the treble clef lines up with the bottom line, top, and the bass clef lines up, the edge of it meets the top line with that middle space. If you have ever looked at piano music, you may recognize that it uses both treble and bass clef, and it's written similarly to this. You'll see the treble clef above the bass clef. There may be a bigger space between them, but there is always these two. And if we go back to fill in this center line, and we kind of calculate, if we go in both clefs and we read the notes going down and up to meet in the middle, we find what is called middle C. Middle C is constant in both clefs. It is the same in both clefs. So if we were to go backwards to bass clef, you could see where the G lines up here at the bottom. And if we were to keep counting down, so we have F in the space, E in the first ledger line, I went the wrong way. If we go up in bass clef, we can start with A, and then B goes in the space, and then C is right here. And this is middle C. So C lines up right with this in bass clef. Now, if we go all the way back to treble clef and we work downward. So if we're starting with D in the bottom line, so D would be below the last line in the staff that you're seeing. C in the first ledger line is right here. So in both clefs, even though they're written, the notes show up differently on the staff itself, they meet in the middle for middle C. Okay. And now this right here is going to be probably the most important part for actually reading music independently without counting out every single little note, every single little thing, counting down one by one, or anything like that. So the chart on the left is showing you both treble clef and bass clef, where the notes sit. So we have in treble clef, the lines are E, G, B, D, F. And in the spaces, we have F, A, C, and E. If you read them line, space, line, space, line, space, we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Goes right in order. The same way that we've been doing it so far. And so if you want to memorize all of the treble clef lines, a good way to do that, and this is how I was taught as a child, is to remember every good boy does fine. You can come up with something different if you'd like. If you want to come up with something special just for you, or something fun, or something perhaps more entertaining, you totally can. But this is what I used growing up. Every good boy does fine. And if you want to memorize the spaces in treble clef, you simply just have to remember face. There is no acronym for this. There is nothing special. You can come up with something if you want, but I and many others have always just remembered it by face. It's just face. It just spells out face, like your face, like my face on the slide that you're seeing. Now, if you're looking to memorize bass clef, if that's what you're looking to do, the lines are G, B, D, F, A, and the spaces are A, C, E, G. So when you read that, again, you get G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So it looks a little different. But we still have easy ways to memorize with an acronym. For the lines, many of us have used good boys do fine always. And for the spaces, all cows eat grass. These may seem silly to you now, but these are what are traditionally used for children. This is what I used when I was 5. This was in a little piano book that I used to learn how to play the piano when I was very young. It had a little portion of how to read music and stuff like that. Um, as you are all adults, I imagine you may come up with more entertaining acronyms, but I will leave that up to you. And the next part, we actually get to have some fun here. We get to have some fun. I'll give you a second to study this, because I'm going to test your knowledge. I'm going to test you on what we've just learned. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them before we go on to the next little section. But I'll give you a moment if you want to write this down or take a screenshot. Um, the Sorry. All right. The PowerPoint itself will be made available to you afterwards. I will be publishing it somewhere. I don't know how yet. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. Perhaps I'll put it on the coffee. But I want to make sure you can access it for free. So I would likely put it up on the coffee for $2 just so you can download it easily, because I can't actually put it onto like Discord. It's too big because this is a 59 slide PowerPoint. So let's see. Let me check. I'll also check the chat as well, so I'll give you a moment to look at this for anybody that wants to write notes, anybody that wants to do anything like that. New Chibi model, indeed, Aston. Thank you for the daily Danny check-in. I'm also gonna grab a hydrate while I'm here because I'm very thirsty. The big bro of staffs. You were talking about the grand staff, weren't you? Two regular ones. Yes, indeed, it was two regular ones. Fun and entertaining. Make it more easy to remember. That's true. If you make it personal to you, then it's gonna be a lot easier to remember what's going on. I like using every good boy deserves fudge. You know what? I like that. I like that. Mm. Do you have any memorizations for boiling slimes? Not quite. I'll have to look in the spell book for that. Is this VOD gonna cost $9,999.99? I wish. I wish. Nah, this is like an online class. It is. This is what was asked. I was asked to teach music. What did you expect? I went to the only reason why I got into college was music. Well, not entirely. I had a good academic standing, but I didn't stand out. I got a full ride to undergrad because I played the violin, and I played it well. I know how to read music. This is a pretty well made slide. Yeah. I did spend a little bit of time on these. I also made them Vara themed. So they're pretty cute. Um all of the assets, I also send you to the website that I gathered all the assets from. I condensed and edited them a little bit. But I did get everything from a wonderful place called musictheory.net, and I will share that with you as well. That'll be available. We'll put that in the chat. We'll also put it in the description of the video. And yeah, I cannot wait for my piano to come. It'll be here in 2 days, and I'll rewatch the VOD. Excellent, 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 excellent. All right, now that I've given you all a chance to look at this, and I've gotten a drink of water, and all of that, we will practice. It is time to practice. It's time. So I have something for you. Let me pull it open here. And I will open it up. Ta-da! So, we're going to look at some notes. And you're going to have to tell me what note it is. This part will be cut out of the video. Just so you all know, this is just for us. This is for a fun little interactive. There will be sound as well, and it's okay to get it wrong. You only need to tell me what note it is. You don't have to worry about the top and bottom line of all that kind of stuff. We're just looking for what it is. So does anybody have a guess what this note might be? And this is only in treble clef. We're just going to be in treble clef for this exercise. Gulp. Gulp. You could do it. You could do it. You could do it. I believe in you. You could do it. What is it? B. All right. Let's put B in. Let's see. All right. For boy. Perfect. 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 And you got it right. So what's the next one? What do we think? D. For Dev. Yeah. And another one. Anybody? Do we have any other guessers? This one's in the middle of the staff. It's 2 spaces up. Any guessers? What do you mean B? I see an O. This wizard is not paying attention. Any other guessers? It's okay if we don't want to do it. I just wanted to give us an opportunity to practice if you want to. It is all right. We could also go through and I could show you a couple of how you would figure out how to read it. I can see it. You can see it. Yes, that's very good. So in this case, we have, well, if you start with G, which is kind of your starting point, if you know where G is, because we went over where do you find G with the treble clef, do you start, so we have G on the second line, and then we have A, And then the next third line is B. C, right? Because face. Perfect, 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 perfect. C, right? And so this whole tool will be available to you. This is actually a special exercise, especially created for you. I customized it and made a permanent link for it. So you'll be getting this link in the description of the video, and you will also be getting this link probably in the Discord. So that way you can practice whenever you want. You don't have to have a piano to do it. You don't have to be anywhere to do it. You can do it straight on your phone. If you just want to figure out how to learn it or you want to practice, it's like flashcards. It's like I don't know what the kids use these days. Lose the glasses is disabled. It sure is. It sure is. It sure is. Eventually you'll get to a part where you can read so efficiently that you can just read the notes whenever. It won't matter. Sometimes you'll get some repeats in here, but generally, you're ready to go. Okay. All right. So I'll give you that link so you can do more practice if you want to. And we will carry on. Okay. So now we're going to get into note duration. So first, we looked at how do you even read it? How do you even know what's going on? Now we have to figure out how long are notes. How long are they? We'll start with the biggest note, and we'll go to the smallest one that we'll look at for now. So first we have a whole note. It's this big circle. This big circle. It takes the full length of a measure. So, for an example, if there's 4 beats, the whole note is going to take all 4 beats. It's just going to take the entire space. Then we have half notes. You might guess half notes are half of a whole. So you need 2 half notes to make a whole note. If you have 4 beats, 2 beats would be a half note. And then we have quarter notes. Quarter notes are just half of a half. So, 2 quarters make a half, and 2 halves make a whole. A little bit of math, and, we end up with a little bit of triangle. Generally, with music, you can continue to divide notes in half. That is how music is written. That is how we count notes and we count how the length of notes and how long they last in measures is based off of halves of halves of halves of halves. Okay? Once we get past a quarter note, anything smaller than a quarter note will have a flag on it. You might think of it, if it's written like this, the way that you're seeing here, you might think of it like those like medieval banners that are really thin and long and hang down. They're really flowy, right? That's what these look like. They also kind of look like flags, which is exactly what they are. For an eighth note, it just has one flag when you see an eighth note, and an eighth note is half of a quarter. So you need 2 eighth notes to make up a quarter. If you have 4 beats, you need 8 eighths to fill that 4 beats. And then we have 16th notes. They have two flags because they're half of an eighth. You'll notice, looking at all 5 of these notes together now, that the whole note is a big circle, and then the half note is still a circle, but there's a line in it. And then a quarter note, we filled in the circle. And then in the eighth note, we've added a flag, and in the 16th note, we've added a second flag. So with each note, as we get smaller and smaller, we add more to the note structure. And there's more math. So 2/16 is an eighth, 2/8 is a quarter. Okay? But is this the smallest note? Is this the smallest that we can get? Absolutely not. There are 32nd notes and 64th notes. You could also get smaller than that, but you will very likely never see these. These are very rare. You will not see these in beginner music and the beginning stages of music. I want to let you know that they do exist. They are around. You may come upon them, but they are very small little notes. And hopefully you won't see them for a very long time. That's all I can say. But 30 seconds have 3 flags, 64ths have 4, and it goes from there, right? So right here, I want to show you the whole breakdown of the main notes that we're going to be focused on and the ones that we're actually going to be looking at. So, at the very top, we have a whole note. And when we split that whole note into 2, we get 2 half notes. Then we have a half note. When we split that half note into 2, we get 2 quarter notes. And as you can see, if you look across the whole thing, 4 quarter notes still equal a whole, because 4 quarter notes equal 2 halves, and 2 halves equal a whole. We can continue this division all the way down. So 2/16 equal an eighth, 2/8 equal a quarter, 2 quarters equal a half, and 2 halves equal a whole. If you have 4 beats and you only have 16th notes, you need 16 of those notes. For eighth notes, you need 8. For quarters, you need 4. For halves, you need 2. And for whole notes, you need just 1. And now, we come to a break. I can answer any questions. There will be a cut here. But I can answer any questions, any things, if anybody has it. But I also need a drink of water. I put these breaks in for you and for me, because I know this can be super overwhelming at first. Especially if you are really seriously learning and you're like writing notes and doing everything. You're like, oh my god, wait, what is that? So that way, works for everyone. Family tree. Yeah, it is like a family tree. It is like a family tree. Okay, so 164 would need 64 for a whole. Makes sense, yeah. If there was 4 beats in a measure, it would be different depending on the time signature, but we're actually gonna get to that very soon. We're gonna get to that soon. We haven't gotten there yet. Thank you, Minecraft, and splitting half of 64. Very good. Anything, you could use can help you out with that. I will check out the video seriously later. Any advice on taking up the piano for somebody who has hands for PC only stuff? Um, hmm. Hmm. Hands for PC I mean, to do PC stuff all the time, like, your hands especially your left hand is gonna be on the keyboard moving around all that, so your left fingers are gonna be pretty, like, agile and be able to, um, adapt pretty well to the spacing and everything like that. Your right hand's gonna be a little bit different, but honestly, the setup hand-wise is not gonna be too bad for you. For anybody that uses a PC, anything, or constantly using a keyboard, actually, because your two thumbs will sit on the outside. Your two thumbs will never touch a key. You're never gonna put your thumb on a key. It's just not gonna happen. Um, you might occasionally do it if you're like doing something crazy, but for the most part, you're gonna be using your other fingers. You can still use the other ones. You totally could, but that is not the way that I was taught. Um, your thumbs are gonna be like guide points. You don't lose yourself. But it's also been a very long time since I've actually touched like a real piano, and a very long time since I had lessons, so I can also be misremembering. Thank you for the daily guiding check-in. Dear God, that sounds complicated. It's all right. Not too bad. It can feel overwhelming at first, just like everything else with music. But the whole thing with music is that you got to take it really slow. You got to take it like one thing at a time. Like I remember when I first started playing the violin, even though I had already been playing music for years beforehand, when I picked up the violin, my teacher literally just had me play the open strings, the four open strings in different note durations for a whole week. So I was bored out of my mind, but I literally just, like, played the A string and did whole note, half, half, quarter, 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 eighth, 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 the whole thing. That was it. For a whole week, that's all I practiced. That's it. That's all I did on each string. No notes, no nothing. Just note duration on the instrument. So when you're learning an instrument, it can be very complicated because you have to learn the instrument, and in many cases, you're also learning how to read the music at the same time. So, you're not just doing one thing. You're learning two new things at once. So, it's very important to take it slow. To take it slow, do small steps at a time. Even if you think you know what you got it. You think you know, you probably don't. I don't. You probably don't have it. So just one step at a time. It feels like it would be very difficult in the beginning, and then I won't even notice. Right, that's kind of how it goes. You eventually become so accustomed. You do, you build little, little brain waves. You know what I mean? You build little muscle memory. Even now, like I had to take, we talked about how I had to take a decent little break from playing the violin. But when I picked it up again, I knew exactly where to go. I knew exactly what to do. My brain still remembered, even if I didn't. Like, I meaning, like, even if in my current memory I was like, wow, it's been so long. I feel so rusty and clunky, and what's going on? My brain still knew exactly what to do. I could still just start pushing buttons. So it gets to a point where, like, you do just know but it's like riding a bike. You may be able to pick it up again, but it can be difficult. And riding a bike itself can be difficult. Muscle memory, yeah, muscle memory. Even sometimes when I hear songs that I've played before, have muscle memory to the song, and I get either like all tensed up or like I start moving around the way that I would to play it because I played it so many times or for so many years or anything like that. Like I still know, I can still feel and I know where my hands are supposed to be on the instrument. Um, so yeah, but all right. I'm gonna grab another hydrate actually before we head to the next section. Also, is this going well? Do we think we're okay with this? Like, does it feel silly or are we having a good time? Just generally catching a vibe. in the middle before we continue. Great time. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Because I don't know, fine, fine with it. I didn't know if we were, um, what we were expecting in terms of like a whole big actual lesson like this, or if we just wanted some like a thrown together thing. But I actually wanted to do something more professional and more put together. This is why we ended up with this. As a biased individual, very great time. All right. Very good. We're gonna get into the next part. Now we're gonna touch on a topic that I've mentioned a couple times already, but now it's finally gonna make sense. It's finally gonna make sense. Measures. So, you see we have the treble clef, and we have the staff. But, there's something new. There's something new going on. There's a line in the middle. There's a line right there that wasn't there before. And that line designates the difference between measures. That breaks up each measure so you know where each one begins and ends. Okay? Within measures, so we know how much to count. We have time signatures. And these are written at the beginning, typically the beginning of the staff. They can appear in the middle of music as well. You may even hear this sometimes in particular songs when the tone changes, or it goes from the verse to the chorus, or something like that. You might notice that the time signature changes with it. So first, I'm showing you 4/4 and 3/4. If we want to know what 4/4 means, so 4 means 4 notes, and the 4 underneath of it means quarters. So this time signature 4/4 means 4 notes, 4 quarters. 4 quarter notes in the measure. So in this case, 4 quarter notes is 4 beats. So there's going to be 4 beats in this measure. Every measure with this is going to have 4 beats. For 3/4, it's very similar. But instead, it's still quarter notes on the bottom, 4, still quarter notes on the bottom, but 3 up top, which means 3 notes instead of 4. So, it's going to look like this. The only difference is that instead of there being 4 notes in the measure, there's going to be 3. You may notice time signatures of like 3/4, or there's another one that is very similar to this. In if you're looking at something that's like a waltz, that's the the music that's very flowy and dancing, like the actual dance. Those are typically written in threes. Much of the current pop music now and lots of other music is written in 4/4 for the most part. You'll occasionally see a different marking. Occasionally you'll see a different marking, but for the most part, you're going to see 4/4 or 3/4. Here's a couple others. They might look a little scary, but I promise they're not. I promise it's okay. We have 6/8 and 3/2. So the first thing we can identify is that with 6, we're looking for 6 notes. And 8, if we remember back to note duration, well, we have an eighth note. So that's what this means. 6/8 notes in the measure. So in this case, you can see it laid out here. We're just marking out the time signature is set in eighth notes. Rather than quarter notes, rather than anything else, it's set in eighth notes. There's just happens to be 6 of them in each measure in this case. Now with 3/2, we can do the same thing. We can apply the same metric. So 3, we can figure that means 3 notes. And then 2, well, they can whole notes, half notes. We've already looked at quarter notes and eighth notes. I don't think it's going to be 16th because that would say 16. So it only makes sense that it's going to be half notes. So in this measure, there's 3 half notes. This is another time signature that you might see frequently um, in waltz dances. So, with these, you can apply this to any time signature you see, whether it's 7/8, 6/8, 4/4, 3/4, 3/2, anything like that. You can apply it to each one. So, how many over the type of note? Yes. Yes. How many notes in the measure over the type of note in the measure? It's a fraction. It's more math. Vara has done the impossible. Time signatures are finally making sense. Excellent. 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 That's exactly what we want. That's exactly it. Okay. And now we'll get into another part of this. Rests. Rests, as you might expect, are silence. Rest. Take a rest. Take a break. Don't play there. Here, in this little handy-dandy little chart, we can see that each note has a corresponding rest. So when you see these, this is what they mean. So when you're looking at a whole note or a whole rest, that means that you rest the whole measure. It's noted in the second to the top line at the top, marked up at the top like that. Then we have a half rest, which is the bottom. You'll notice, you may remember for our Minecraft lovers, the difference between a whole note and a half note rest, they kind of look like half slabs, don't they? One goes at the top, one goes at the bottom. They go in the same space, but the whole goes at the top. It covers the top, much the way that a whole Minecraft block would, or if you put 2 half slabs, right? The one would line up, and the half note would stick underneath the dirt. If you were to put your half slab in a pile of dirt, there'd be a little bit of a dip, wouldn't there? And that's the way that the half rest is written. And then we have quarter rests. They're a fancy little squiggle. They're just as long, generally, as a quarter note. They're a little fancy. They're a little fun. And then we have eighth rests and 16th rests. You can also have 30 seconds, 64, the whole thing, but you're very unlikely to see that simply because there is a certain point where like that kind of a rest is not going to happen. It doesn't the kind of music that those notes are used in, there's typically no resting. But you may encounter them. Eighth notes, eighth rests have a little flag, just like the eighth notes. They just go in the opposite direction as the note. And the same is true with the 16th. The 2 flags go to the left, where the flags on the note itself go to the right. Okay. So when we're looking at rests, we have a measure. This measure is in 4/4. So there's 4 notes and it's quarters. So we have 4 quarter notes in the measure. But there's a rest, and it's a quarter rest. So we have note, rest, note, note. So you would not play or sing in the second beat. You would hold, rest, take a break, take a breath, stop playing your instrument, pull the bow off the string, anything like that. You would not, if you were playing percussion, you wouldn't touch it, right? You would just leave that alone. There was meant to be silence in that space. And here we can see the same chart that we have with notes, we can have with rests. So we have a whole rest, 2 half rests, make a whole, 4 quarter rests, make a whole. We have eighth rests and 16th. They all can still be divided and add up the same way that regular notes can. They correspond to each other, and you will see them frequently mixed with notes. Okay. And I'm going to show you next dots and ties. So dots and ties are ways that we can augment and change note duration. So I'll show you first augmentation dots. So this little dot means that it's on a quarter note. So we still have the value of our quarter note, but we have to add 1/2. The dot adds 1/2 to any note that it's on. So in this case, with a quarter note, if we're adding half of a quarter note, what would that be? An eighth. So if we were to play this, we would hold this note for the duration of a quarter note and an eighth together. Here is the different ways that you can look at augmentation dots. A half note with a dot means a half and a quarter. Or, alternatively, it means 3/4 because 2/4 make a half, right? With a quarter with a dot, that's a quarter and an eighth. That also means 3/8 because 2/8 equals a quarter. With an eighth and a dot, that's an eighth and a 16th, or 3/16. In any case, whenever you see this dot, you need to add half of the note value that comes before the dot. And then you have your whole value. Um, you'll often see this and the next step that we'll look at in vocal music, so choral music. You may see it frequently in wind instruments, stuff like that. You'll kind of see them in string instruments as well. Um, but for the most part, you'll see this a ton with vocals, simply because when you're singing a song, you're going to be holding some notes for longer periods of time than what may actually be designated. Okay? Then we get to tenuto ties. These are the second way to augment and change note value. So in this case, we have 2 quarter notes, but there's a line underneath them. Kind of makes them look like a little smiley face. If these two existed without the context of the line, well, you wouldn't really do anything with it. It would just look like 2 quarter notes. Just like the way that it's written out here, we have 2 measures in 4/4, so we have 8 quarter notes. If this line didn't exist, you would just simply play it as 8 quarters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the line indicates that you should hold that first note. Hold it. You need to keep it together. So in this case, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. You would hold that note regardless of where that lines up. In this case, it happens to be between two measures. So this is how the two measures tie together. And now we get another break for me. For any questions or anything like that. Or even just I can take a break so that way I know where to cut it. Seems like I'm back in 6th grade. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of the vibe. That's kind of the vibe. There's enough people that want to learn how to read music and all that. So we're doing it. Thank you for the daily dining check and thank you, thank you. I just hope I'm not boring too many people. Oh my. I did really stay up late for this. I did I did really stay up late. It was really like 3:30 by the time I went to bed. Um I remember the basic things. Yeah, well that's what we're looking at now. We're doing the very basics of the basics. The very beginnings. We haven't gotten that very far. What we have actually, we're close to the end of the slides actually. We have one more thing to look at, and then I believe we have another practice bit. I'll show you kind of how to use the next session, and then we can go back to our normal activities and stuff like that. But yeah, let me grab this hydrate. We'll go through. I thought about making this like super interactive and fun, but I was nervous that the point wouldn't come across. And so while I wanted to make this like content, also it was important to me that you actually understand the basics. Like I'm not trying to fool you or mess around or content farm your education. You're like the music teacher I used to have in primary school, but without the yelling every time I get it wrong. I would never. I would never. It's important to get things wrong actually because then it helps you figure out what's the right thing to do. What's the right choice? I have never felt that it's bad to get something incorrect. I think it's very important to do so. But yeah, we can move right along. Ken, let me just get this set up. The next part is going to be a little scary. So it may even be a little confusing. We're going to look at accidentals. There's 5 different kinds of accidentals that exist. We're going to focus on 3, but I want to show you what all 5 look like in case you see them. Naturals are like regular notes. In music, generally speaking, unless it's an accidental, you won't even see this. The only time you'll actually see this written is when a note is in some other accidental, or you're playing music in a different key signature, but you need to play a note in its natural form. Then we have flats and double flats. This means playing a note half a step down. And then we have sharps and double sharps. Well, let me preface it by saying a flat is playing a note half a step down. A sharp is playing a note half a step up. Double flats and double sharps are a whole step in either direction. Okay? So here's the 2 main that we're going to look at right now, flats and sharps. Okay? Flats look like a little bee, and sharps look like a hashtag. So, we're going to look at this keyboard here. and we're going to talk about what it is, why, and I'm going to ruin your day a little bit. So we can identify that that note that you're looking at is a C, and it has a hashtag on it. So that means that that note is a C sharp. C sharp on the piano is the highlighted note. And in later lessons we'll get into where notes fall on the piano and all of that. But for now, that is a C sharp on the piano. Okay? Well, this note right here, you notice that it's not in the space anymore. It's on the next line. So it's a D. But instead of a sharp, it has a flat. So this is a D flat. And you'll notice where that is on the piano. It's right there in that highlighted part. Now, if you're paying close attention, you'll notice something. You go back up here, take a look where it is, take a look at the note, and then come down here, take a look at the note. What do you see between these two? What do we see? Well, they're the same note. This is just two ways to write the same note. On any instrument, a C sharp and a D flat will sound exactly the same. They're just written differently based off of key signature, accidentals, and other aspects that may occur in the music writing process. So here, I'm going to show you a big list. This is every flat and sharp that you will see in key signatures. Key signatures is something for next week. But you'll see in treble clef, we have B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and F flat. Everything. You can have everything. Everything can be an accidental. Same with sharps in treble clef. We have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp. Anything can be an accidental. And that includes sometimes you may see notes in a measure with a sharp or a flat next to it. But then in the same measure, we'll go back up so you can see it again, you might see the natural sign. And that tells you that that note, the first time with the sharp, needs to be sharp. That, like, for example, if it's a C, if you see a C with a sharp, you need to play a C sharp. But then, if the next note, it has still a C, but it has a natural next to it, that means you need to play a C natural, which is half a step down from a C sharp. You can even identify this on the keyboard, because with the piano, currently we have the C sharp highlighted. The note, the white key next to that on the left, is a C natural. So it's very important that you understand the difference between naturals, sharps, and flats, because this is how you get the specific tunes that you want to play. Sometimes you might be reading music and you might notice a key signature, or you'll notice there's sharps and flats, and if you ignore them, the music will not sound right. That's because you need the sharps and flats to get the tone that you're looking for, to make it make sense. Okay? And so now we've hit our last practice time. So I'm going to show you another resource that I've gathered for you. So this one right here, we're going to look at the treble clef one. I have everything written in treble and bass clef, so you can use either one if you want to. Here, this is the same as before. We have the notes and we can identify the notes, but we've also added accidentals. So, if we remember how to read it, you know, we can even remember where C is. in face, and we can count up. Or remember where E is. If you remember some of it, you can get there. So if we remember that E is at the top because of face, then this must be an F. But it has a hashtag, so that means it's an F sharp. And then we go one line down. Okay. Well, we had an E, so now this is a D. And there's still a hashtag on it. So that's a D sharp. And then, oh, we get a repeat. And then we come all the way down here. Well, we remember face. So then we have an E is on the line. So then we have a D. But what's this? It's a little B. So this makes this a D flat. And this, just a D natural. Then we come up here. This is a G flat. And then eventually you just keep practicing. And then you always know where it is. Okay? And I will give you the link to that as well. You'll have the links, you'll have the things, everything will be available in the description of the video, as well as everywhere else, basically. I'm going to make it as accessible as possible for you. And we just have one last thing. Well, not really a last thing, but do you want to learn more? Do you want more music lesson? Or anything else for that matter that I might be able to help with? Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Put the notifications on so you don't miss the next lesson. You could join us on Discord and hang out. You could also watch these lessons live on Twitch if you want to. And all of the assets that I used from in this PowerPoint and in the stream were all brought to you by www.musictheory.com. Oh, sorry, musictheory.net. And that will be in the description of the video. And basically everything that I used, I got from there. They also have a really good description of what each of these steps are. I compacted it down and cut some things and moved some things around that I thought needed to change. But generally, this is it. What do I do if I already did all of that? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't look. Oh, it does. Does it have the www? It does, doesn't it? Yeah. I think you could even type in musictheory.net and it'll show up. Yeah. Even if you just look up musictheory.net, you'll get it. They also have they do have an app that you could download if you wanted to. I don't have it. I prefer the browser. But you can go in here and you could read all about the basics that we already looked at. You could also look at other things that exist in here. You can go farther than we went today. You can go all the way into really specific, really complicated pieces of music theory. They do also have exercises. The links that I will be providing to you are specialized for basically what you want to focus on. So if you're just looking to do notes and you don't want to worry about sharps or flats, you could just focus on the naturals. Or if you want to do everything, you can do that. If you want to look at note identification in treble and bass clef at the same time, with no limitations whatsoever, you can use their built-in note identification exercise. They also have key signatures, intervals, scales, chords, and so many other resources that you can use. I hope that we can get more into them as we get through this. They also have some really handy tools. So they have a couple different calculators that you could use to identify what you're looking at if you're having a problem. They also have a pop-up piano that you can use. You could pull the piano up digitally and you could push the notes and stuff like that. You can mark them down as well. So if you're trying to identify what's going on, what's happening, and you want the visual of the piano, you can do that. Um, But yeah, you could, or you could watch Bird live. It's true. You totally could. You totally could. But yeah, that'll wrap up. Wrap up the first lesson, and we have a good little bit of time left. It's only 10:30. All of the above. All of the above. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you found this. You know what? I realized I never turned the YouTube stream on. I never turned it on. Well, that's okay. I lost the views because I never turned it on. But I'll have a nice video. It's fine. YouTube doesn't like it when you repeat content anyway. Unfortunately, the YouTube doesn't auto start anymore. So, oh well. Oh well. I was too nervous. I forgot. That was our scuff for the night. There it is. But it's all right. It's all right. Um, make a series of music stream VODs for YouTube. Yay! Yeah, we'll have that. I'll post this. I will also be putting the whole video up there. Um, and yeah, well, I'll have to edit the whole video. It's gonna take me a little bit to edit it. I'm hoping I'll have some time to edit this weekend because I only have the 3 streams. I was even hoping maybe tomorrow I can sit and get through it. I can almost guarantee that there's gonna be a lot of this that I'm like, wow, I hate that I said that, or I hate that I did that, or I hate that this happened, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll get over it. We will get over it. Um, but thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out for this. And we can now hang out and do whatever again. We can hang out for a little bit. Um, I'll have to make all the resources available to you. It's probably gonna take me probably a couple days to get everything super available. Um, but yeah. Now we have a fun teacher desk and chalkboard. Or whenever. We'll go back over here because I have everything off over here for now. And we can kind of turn everything back on, maybe, kind of. Kind of. Kind of. You know. Yeah. I know that the vertical stream was also messed up too, because I did not put all the stuff in the vertical. 100% did not put the stuff in the vertical, so. That's the way that it goes. Oh, you know what? I forgot to turn the stuff back on. I can turn all our goodies back on. You can see we have far too much. Far too many goodies. Oh my god, I still have this? Look at that. Is it like almost full? Hold on. I didn't know I still had this. Look at it. I can't believe I didn't know I still had this here. Do y'all remember this? Do you remember this? Oh my god. It's just been sitting around. It's still been calculating. It's still been counting. Yes. It's still been counting. It's still counting how close we are, technically, or how close we were to a VTuber model. It's a shame. Honestly, by the time, like, we save up enough for this, it's not even gonna be enough because, like, artflation is real. Inflation is real. This stuff costs more money now than it did before. Maybe one day we'll finish it. It looks really nice though, almost full, yeah? It looks really good. I didn't realize, I didn't know. Let me put it away. Let me make it a little smaller too so it's not all the way in the way. And hide it. Back to the dungeon it goes. Back to the dungeon it goes. Images. Check in. I'm making sure everything goes back on. I gotta remember to turn the chat back on over there. I gotta turn everything back on over there. I think everything here was still on, so I don't think it's too bad. I just had to turn some of that other stuff back on. And I will now turn on everything else that we had off for a while, so you can go back to all of the things. So I'm just gonna go through and turn your speaker bot on, and I will turn your throwables on. Thank you for the head pat. And we got minimize that. This. There we go. And now we have a few minutes to yap and hang out. And all the things are on, so you can use everything. Now it should work. Well, I say that, but I don't know if your redeems are actually on or not, because I did not turn them off. There you go. I don't have a chat uppies yet. I don't have a chat uppies yet. I don't have a chat uppies. Also, thank y'all so much for being patient and understanding not using the redeems or anything like that, because now that's super helpful for me when I edit. Say with not having the chat on screen, it's super helpful to me to not have them there. That way we can have a really smooth, nice video, and I can reuse the content for a long form and stuff like that. Uppies on Vara's head, yeah. Uppies, not only uppies on Vara's head. We need uppies on Vara's head, and then I can can long neck it out of here. We can chat uppies the long way. Great work. Everything was cool and great. Thank you. Thank you. I hope it was alright. I hope it was alright. I'm nervous still. Well, not really nervous anymore, but well, I guess I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous that it's not gonna do well. But I'm okay with doing it even if it doesn't do well. I just put so much time in that I hope that it does, you know? Whoops. That's not what I wanted. I legitimately hit the wrong button. I'm sorry for that. Didn't mean to jump scare you with no hair. I think it's great that I could, like, sit here with a book. Squeaky toy? You want a squeaky toy? I'll have to set up these things. So they actually work. I'll keep my phone out though, by now. Thank you for the hydrate and stretch. I need that. I need a hydrate. Oh my? Oh my what? I'm really hoping we get some nice little clips because of the model too. You know what I mean? Like that intro, that nice little intro that I did. You'll be seeing that on TikTok for sure. And on YouTube in a short and in a landscape. Oh, you'll be seeing it. You'll be seeing it. Because I take advantage of anything that I can for content. But yeah. I don't really have too much else to talk about or anything like that because I was so hyper focused on this. That now I'm like, wow, I'm done. I can relax. I can turn brain off. I can buffer. I cannot do anything. I could just sit like this. until sleep, you know? Like this. You can sleep and rest. I was thinking about it. I was wondering how we felt about it. Because this was a lot. This was like, I don't know, how long do you think it was? Probably about an hour? Maybe a little bit more? A little bit more than an hour, maybe? Like a whole lesson, like a whole class. Like a whole thing. I recharge, yeah. Well, there's a lot to do tomorrow, still. I'm hoping to work on some redeems and stuff like that for this model, because I feel like that could be fun for Wednesday. And also, I'd like to add some stickers and gifts of this model. I also want, um, I want to work on getting this stuff available and also publishing this. And, what else? There's a couple other pieces of content that I've been working on. And of course, the other music stuff, unrelated to the lesson. And then, if we want to do another music lesson next week, well, I might want to do them every 2 weeks just so I don't get too burnt out. Because if we want to do another one next week, then that means I have to start working now on the next one. And I don't want to work on the next one right now. I want to have a little break. But maybe I'll feel differently in a couple days. Every 2 weeks sounds good. Yeah. Because this was a lot. Not saying that I shouldn't be putting this amount of work in every night, because I should be putting this amount of work in every night. But I think for me personally, if I don't want to burn out and we want to be able to do this and have other things and all that, I think perhaps once every 2 weeks will work out. And of course, for those who are super interested in it and you want to move faster than that, you could totally send me a message at any point, and I'll be more than happy to help and ask, um, help and answer, and address any concerns that you might have or anything that you're looking at. And you're like, what is this? I haven't seen it yet. I can still help you out. It just might be at like 2 a.m. from my bed in the DMs, but you know, I can still help you. Um, and yeah, if there's enough people who are interested and enough people who interact and stuff like that, depending on how well the video does on YouTube, we may end up with a little channel on the Discord for it to address it. Um, but if it's like everything else and there's like, a whole 10 views, we don't have to worry about it. That's only gonna be if it does super well. I'll add one. Otherwise, we don't need it. Also, I hope you like this model with the lesson. I think I might use these each week because, um, it kind of just helps me out. It does a lot of legwork for me, and it also looks cute. It does have like books and things like that, to use if I wanted to. I didn't really this time. I may in the future, um, but you know, I think it's cute and it looks good and it's fun, and I can stand on the desk. And plus, especially because the lessons take so much magical power. The lessons take so much magical power that I need to reduce in form to hang out. Can be used during family game night. It can. There's a lot of leg work. You're so right. You're so right. There's no leg work. There's nothing. We skip in leg day for wing day. But look how fast they can go. I can almost take flight. I can almost fly. I can almost do it. If I just try a little harder, maybe I could do it. Let me try one more time. All right. One more. I got it this time. I got it this time. Ready? Okay. We got it. We can do it. I can if I try hard enough, I can fly. Also, I hope the microphone was okay today. I'm gonna be really upset if it was like a nightmare. I'm gonna be really upset if we peaked, if we had issues, because I did make some adjustment and I did change a couple things, and I really hope, I really hope it turned out okay. I'm gonna be so sad if I have to like re-record or if the recording's bad and there's nothing I can do about it. I know there's gonna be some popping and other noises. That's inevitable. I think that's just built into my microphone, honestly. Honestly, I do. I've tried so much stuff. Right now, I only have a noise suppressor and one equalizer on. Like nothing, there's nothing clashing. Nothing at all is clashing here. So it's like crazy that there's like popping. That should not happen. I checked to make sure everything was plugged in properly and everything. Just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Well, we feel like we're ready for bed. At least I am. Just so I can relax a little bit and I don't know, there isn't much I'm going to do. I might just like read something and go to bed. I should work on stuff. I should like work on some content and whatever, but honestly, it's been a very long, I say couple weeks just because I've been staying up a lot the past couple weeks. I can feel I've been like pushing through the burnout already. We know this. We know this. I've already been ignoring the burnout for quite a long time now. But the past couple weeks I've been extra ignoring and just doing super long hours and being like, it's fine. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters. The grind is everything. The grind. We need the grind. The grind is life. We live to grind. And that's it. So perhaps I'll get some sleep before doing a bunch of work for you tomorrow. I think. Plus, we almost made it to 11 anyway. It's 10:53. We did a full 1 hour and 53 minutes. Stuff. But yeah, you'll be seeing this model again on Wednesday, whether I get the redeems set up or not. The redeems are super easy to set up, so I'll probably just have them set up. Because everything's already built into the model. It's just a matter of actually setting them as channel point redeems for you to use. We won't have everything. I'm gonna pick and choose a couple things, like long neck and probably hair. And well, maybe not. Well, I don't know if I'll give you access to long neck. We'll see. We'll see. But you'll get bald and you'll get the squeaky toy and the shaker. Um and then a couple of these other ones you'll just see around. Did I show you this one, by the way? I think I skipped this one. I'm gonna lick a lemon, but it's sour. A little punishment. Licking a lemon. You'd think we would know better. You'd think we'd know better than to lick a lemon. But, what can I say? But yeah, let me make sure nobody I know is streaming. Let me make sure that like the bunny isn't streaming or something else. I don't think so. I think I saw one. There's actually a few people streaming right now. Oh, but they're all like doing some stuffs. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope it was at least something different and fun. Well, I don't know about fun. It was class. So I hope it was at least something different and entertaining. For some of you, it probably felt like you were in class because it was like online. It's like online school. Um, and I hope those of you who are really interested and actually wanted to know this information took the notes that you needed. And over the next week, I'll give myself a generous time period because I may or may not do things in the next few days. It depends. Um, so I will in the next week I'll get everything accessible to you, and I plan to get the video released over the weekend, and I'll put all the links in the description and everything like that, so you should be able to have everything that you need. And if there's anything that I miss or anything you want extra, please do not hesitate to kind of reach out or let me know, and I'll try my best to make things accessible to you. Same with the PowerPoint. Like, I'll be putting the PowerPoint up onto Coffee. I just have to make a couple adjustments um, to it. I'll make a couple changes, and I also have to, not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust other people, so I have to watermark every page. So I have to put my little logo on it, and but once I do that, and once the other stuff, once I kind of fix it up, then I'll let it go for you. It'll just be a PDF version, but you'll be able to have it. Um, it is just a bunch of pictures, but it may be helpful to you, maybe, or maybe helpful to go along with the video, or if you're looking at specific things and you want to look at a specific chart or something like that. All right. Is that a Pokemon? We'll wait until that Pokemon is done. We can kind of bend our knees a little bit. You know what I mean? But we don't have it. Oh! Oh! Oh!
It's
Oh!
underscore size
Oh
01
my god!
gifted 5 subscriptions to the community.
Oh my god!
Hype train
Oh!
started.
Hype train! Looks like we're staying here a little longer. 5 gifted! 5 whole gifted! Thank you for the 5 gifted! Thank you, thank you! Who caught one? Rom? Pack? Thanks, Strider? Maybe in an iron mask. Oh my god.
I will be knowing food.
I will be knowing food.
I want to buy this one.
Ray Bandon 80
Yes.
just subscribed for 18
Yes.
months.
Oh my god. 18th month resub? 18th month resub? Bro planned it, maybe. But now I know what it looks like when this model gets hit with stuff. I was so shocked I barely got to see it, but it was still nice, and we got to see the hype train and everything. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted. And for starting the hype train. Then we get, what is it, 5 minutes? Yeah, we get another 3 minutes and 42 seconds of content. Oh, thank you for the head pat. Thank you, thank you. I will go back to standing up here. I realized that it pulled me down a little bit, so I'll fill the whole I'll fill the whole screen for you. I can even get bigger, but I feel like this is a good enough size. I feel like you can see me. I feel like you can see what's happening. Yeah, thank you, Sai, for gifting subs, and also thank you, Ray, for resubbing, and thank you again, Cheese Wizard, for the 100 bits. I also do want to thank Stray, because Stray did send me a thing that you all couldn't see, that I happened to see the notification for on my phone, um, during. So thank you, thank you, Stray, thank you, Cheese Wizard, thank you, Ray, thank you, Sai, and thank you everybody who also just watched tonight. Thank you. It means a lot that you'll at least listen, even if it's boring, through my hobbies and special interests. Because music is a special interest of mine. It's been something that I've been neglecting to talk about in streams for a long time for a multitude of reasons. But I'm actually really excited that we got to talk about it today. And the past like couple weeks, I've actually been really excited that I've been working on some things with Stray, and we've been making some plans, and that I've also had the opportunity to tell some stories and some of my experiences with you, because it's a lot of stuff that I haven't necessarily talked about too much, and so it's been really nice. There are no borings. I'm super excited to use these VODs. Yay. I'll probably, well, I don't know if I'll do like individual clips as well for everything. I could, but I explain stuff really. I'm like, I'm not long winded, but there's lots of pauses in between each time when I'm like explaining something. So I'm not sure how that's gonna go for like clips, because you gotta be pretty quick. You gotta be pretty quick for the clips. But we'll at least have the long form, and then I'll like pull a couple things for the model or something like that. At least. At least. And there's the coffee. For Bird's hard work, thank you. It means a ton. Oh, Dev is still here. Hi, Dev. Seems like a lot of you still made it through, which I really appreciate. Honestly, I expected to start, and then for many of you to like leave because I just figured nobody would end up actually being interested. I cannot learn from TikTok clips and YouTube shorts. These VODs gonna save my life. Yeah, some people like to pack everything into like a short or something like that. Music is too, I think, too special for like a clip farm. I never leave. It's true. Never leave. I have been trying to learn music for the better part of 5 years. Ah, I see. Well, in many ways, I think none of you should like make sure that you don't feel bad about not knowing how to read music or taking a long time to read music because it can take a really long time and reading music is a different language. You're literally reading like notes on a page. You're reading like random dots and lines on a page and expected to know exactly what that is and translate that to sound. You're learning how to read sound. So it does take a little bit to get used to and it does take a little bit to learn. And it is complicated and it's okay. Thank you so much for the hype train. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate it. It means a ton. For those of you who are participated, you may have gotten an emote. I already have all the level 2 emotes, but I hope you got one. I really loved this. It gives me a refresher on my choir music skills and the musical side of Vara. Ah. I can't read music and I haven't sung a cappella or choir since high school, so I'm both brand new and also rusty. It's okay, you got it. I believe in you. I believe in you. So it's somewhat like musical Morse code. You know what? It is. You know what? That's exactly it. I kind of just learned by Googling notes and how it sounds, never actually this. Yeah. This is like, this is how I learned. Now, when I learned how to read music, I learned officially through lessons. I started with percussion lessons. So the first thing I ever learned when I was like 5 was note duration and note value, as well as like rest and stuff like that. Because that's the main thing that you're going to look at for percussion. That's like your whole life is note duration and note value. That's it. That's your whole world. Um, but then when you actually get into other instruments and stuff like that, you need to know the notes too. So then I learned that slowly. But I will say when I got actually into learning like reading notes and everything like that, I was 14 generally when I really, really, really read music a ton, like read music a ton, like fully know without hesitation what the note is, what's going on. And that's when I started playing the violin. I had the privilege of having a teacher. She was very expensive, but having a teacher who went to a very prestigious school. So I had the opportunity to become classically trained on the violin with somebody who could really teach me everything from like a really detailed, thorough level from the beginning. Like she just knew exactly what to do and exactly how to like get there from start to finish, from small like to increasing degrees of difficulty. That I think really helped me learn and know everything the way that I do. Um, in fact, every violin teacher I ever had, they all went to the same school. They never knew each other, but they all went to the same place. I can't exactly tell you where, um, but like probably the most well-known prestigious music school you can think of, like off the top of your head, and don't say it out loud, but they all went there. Um, and so they all taught me in varying degrees. So first, from 14 to 18, I had one violin teacher, and then from it kind of got a little messy in undergrad. From 18 to 19, I had one professor, and he was technically a visiting professor. He was actually like performing at the time and doing concerts and on tour, but he would still come like once a week and do our lessons and do like different work with us while he was on tour because he was just visiting for the year because the actual professor for violin at the school, unfortunately she was on sabbatical that year because um we didn't know it at the time, but she was fighting cancer, so she wasn't there for that year. So he was a visiting professor. So from 18 to 19, I had him. And then from 19 to 20, she was back for a year. So it was really nice because I finally got to meet her. Well, I met her when I auditioned for the school and when I got in for the school, but I didn't actually get to have any lessons for her with her or actually get to learn anything from her until my sophomore year of undergrad, which was really great. Because I really loved her teaching style. I really wished that I could have had more time with her. Unfortunately, she passed in my junior year, and that visiting professor from freshman year returned and filled in for the rest of junior year. And then my senior year didn't happen. Well, a lot of my junior year didn't happen actually, like the second semester, the spring semester, because the pandemic happened. And so we didn't really have anything, like at all. Like we were all just sent home. There was no music. And then my senior year was a big mess. And I don't think I ever really got to do it. I can't even really remember exactly. But I know that I was like at home the whole senior year, so I never really got to participate in a lot of music stuff, but I know he was still there. Um I don't know who they have now. I have no idea. But yeah. I had the opportunity to have some really great teachers um for the violin. They taught me a lot. Each one taught me different things. And they taught me some very valuable lessons. Um and some things that I'll never forget. I still have some of their stuff like in my violin case as well. Like the professor that unfortunately passed away, she gave everybody a tennis ball because when you play the violin, you tend to get very your shoulders get really tight and your back gets really tight. Just because you're just doing a lot of there's just a lot of tension in that area when we're doing all that. So she gifted everybody a tennis ball like for fun, like the first like group session that we had. Everybody was gifted a tennis ball. So that way you could put the tennis ball like in behind like on your back but like where your spine is, right? And you could roll gently roll back and forth against the wall to kind of manually to yourself work out the muscles. And you could also like do it for your shoulders and stuff because many of us obviously were not getting massages and stuff done. There was no like aftercare for playing the instruments. You were on your own. Even though we were playing all the time, like we were playing like, 8 to 12 hours a day, we'd be playing the violin. Um, so I still have that. And then, a couple other random items and gifts and random things just like sit in my violin case, like little trinkets. I keep them like in a little like box so they don't roll around. But yeah, fun times. I'm only remembering now because when I recently opened it up and I had it out during stream, I was like looking at all the stuff and I was like, oh yeah, she did give us some stuff. Um, and yeah, fun times. Well, I yapped us to 11 o'clock, along with the hype train. So I think we can actually call it. We actually hit our 2 hour mark. So that's really great. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for enjoying as much as you possibly could and being wonderful students for our first lesson. It means a lot. And have a wonderful, wonderful night. I realized I didn't oh, you know what? I did exit the other one. I was like, I didn't do like an ending, but I did. It's fine. It's fine. I did. So have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like look at the YouTube. If you want to watch some VODs, especially if you want to put some VODs in the background at a low volume, so you don't have to actually hear it, that'd be wonderful because we're trying to get our watch hours up. Yeah. I heard through the grapevine recently that YouTube is upping their partnership qualifications. They're doubling everything. And so I really want to get to that 4K. I'm kind of in a panic to get to that 4K before they do that. Um, I have to look up exactly when. I also have to look up the validity of the statements that what I saw. But I did see a couple sources say that they're going to up it. So basically, instead of 4,000 hours, you'd need 8,000. The shorts used to go way up. So I want us to be done. I want us to be done and grandfathered in before they make that change. Before they do that, because I'm not doing this. I'm not. We're never gonna make 8,000. We're never gonna make it. Um, so we gotta push the YouTube. Yes, chef, we gotta push the YouTube again. We gotta push it. We gotta do it. We gotta get done. We gotta because there's no they're gonna as far as what I can see, they're gonna change it, and I don't want to be involved. And thank you for the musical stream. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for teaching us and streaming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, everybody. Um, and I'll see you on Wednesday, hopefully with some new redeems and some edited videos and stuff like that. Have a wonderful night. Good night. Good night.